Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. Today we're going to be taking a look at these 4 toys produced by McDonald's back in 1984 to go along with their Happy Meals. These are little pull-back vehicles where you pull them back, wind up a motor and they shoot around the room. Now this is not the normal sort of thing that I would review, but if you've watched this channel before you'll know that I really like things like Takara's Penny Racers and LJN's Stunt Racers. Both of these toys were produced in the early 80s, and these McDonald's little Happy Meals toys are a direct rip-off, or let's say a homage of those types of toys. They have the same features and the same look and feel as them, but these were just given away with the Happy Meals. So let's take a closer look at them. So back in 1984, these were the sorts of toys that you would get included with your Happy Meal if you went to McDonald's, and at that sort of time I didn't get to go to McDonald's that often. There weren't that many around the area that I lived, and I think I managed to go once within the sort of month window that these toys were available, and I managed to get myself a Hamburglar. But I would have absolutely loved to get all of them because I was a massive fan of the Penny Racer toys, and these really are quite a sort of homage to those, because if we take a look at the Penny Racer toys, you can see here this is the UK version of the Penny Racer toys. These were produced by Takara back in 1981, and the idea with these toys is they were a little sort of pullback toy, and you put a 1 penny piece in the back of the vehicle. That gave it a little bit of weight, so when you did that with the pullback motor it did a little wheelie. Let me just do that again so you can see. It does a little wheelie and wheels around. And so obviously McDonald's thought this was a very sort of nice little gimmicky toy, and they thought they would make their own versions of it, and so they produced these. And you can really see that McDonald's tried to get as close as possible to these cars. Even the sort of the size of the wheels and everything is pretty much exactly the same. The distance between the wheels is exactly the same. The only sort of slight difference is that the front wheels on the McDonald's cars are just made out of plastic, whereas Penny Racers have little rubber tyres on them. But they went ahead and made these, and they even managed to get them doing a wheelie, but not by you putting a penny in the back of them, but there's a little weight in the back of these. And I'll take one apart later on so you can have a look and see how these are constructed. But as you can see, they made 4 of them. Here we have Ronald McDonald's one. As you can see, that's a little Jeep or a runabout. It's got a little windscreen there and some text printed on the front. It just says Ronald McDonald, and also a little sort of display there with the dashboard and the steering wheel, and you have Ronald McDonald's face there. And if we look at Hamburglar's one, you can see this is a bit more sporty looking. It's a little roadster. Again, on the front it says Hamburglar, and he's got a nice little sort of version of his head there. The basis of these is all pretty much the same. The motor and wheels are exactly the same in all of them. They just sort of redesigned the cars around them. Then we have Big Mac in his police car, little sort of cop symbol on the side there, and on the back and on the top it says Big Mac, and you can see his little burgery face there on the top. I actually sort of like this one the best just because I think the sort of little face works particularly well, and the car sort of reminds me of a Dukes of Hazzardy type thing, but it's just a nice little car. And then finally we have Mayor Mccheese. Now for those watching in the US, you wouldn't have got this one. This is a sort of UK only. You can see it says on the front Mayor Mccheese. For some reason in the US they decided to release, it's pretty much the same car, but it says Birdie, the early bird on it, and it has the birdie face on the top there rather than Mayor Mccheese. Not sure why they did them differently, but they did. There is another slight difference actually between the UK and the US versions, in that the UK versions are much better because they have different bits of plastic and different bits of sculpting. The US ones were just made out of 1 pink piece of plastic. They didn't have the detailing of this M window and the soft top here, and Ronald McDonald's one didn't even have the windscreen. It was just a sort of little lump on the front there. So for some reason they decided to make the UK ones a lot better. But I guess what you really want to see is these running to see how well they move around, so I'm going to set that up for you now. Now they do all run in the same way. You just pull them back to wind up the motor. Some of them have a sort of cool feature that enables them to spin around. I think all of them should really spin around, but it just depends on the sort of weight of the vehicle, and this one is one of the best for spinning about, so let me show you that. You can see he just goes a little bit sort of crazy round and round in circles. It's actually quite a nifty feature. I'll do it again here so you can see him do it a bit more. Every time he hits something it sort of shoots off at a different angle. But that is a pretty cool feature. Mayor Mccheese's one doesn't actually do that quite as well. I think it's because these vehicles are slightly heavier. There's a bit more plastic to them. So I'm going to aim that at the wall just so you can see see how well he does it. See, it's not quite as spinny. He just sort of goes in straight directions until he hits something. But it does work quite well. I think Ronald McDonald's is much the same as that. It sort of goes in mainly a straight line. Oh, there you go. And doesn't really do anything. Yeah, not the greatest one. For some reason, Ronald McDonald's one really doesn't want to get spinning. Oh, it did then a bit off camera. Mainly, it just goes in a straight line. Let's try Big Mac, the final one. I think he is quite spinny as well. Yeah, crazy spinny. That's probably the best of the lot. But as you can see, for a child, these are pretty good fun toys. They really do have some nifty action to them and look pretty cool. So as I mentioned, the way these work is rather than having a penny like penny racers, they actually have a piece of metal inside them to weight them down. And you can see that just by taking the bottom of the car off. There's one screw that holds these together, and then you can remove the top. And in the back of all of them, there is that. It's a tiny piece of, I'm going to say it's steel because it's quite heavy, just a little piece of steel like that. And it's about the same weight as a 1p piece, which is, I guess, why they've put it in there. And if you see these, sometimes you'll see them actually looking quite rusty. And the reason is that this will have got damp and it produces quite a lot of rust and tends to ruin the car. So that's something to look out for. But that is how they work. A bit of steel in the back of them. And that's enough to give them some weight and make the car lift up and do a wheelie. It's a simple feature, but it works particularly well. Now, if you want to collect these, I have to say they are not particularly hard to find. I went on eBay and bought a few different sort of lots of them, and there are lots of people selling them. Some people sort of mark them up at £6 or £7 each, but actually if you wait, you can pick them up for a couple of pounds. And I picked up most of these for a couple of pounds each. I think the hardest one to find is actually Mayo Mccheese, because the way these were sold at the time, or sort of given out at the time, is each week the Happy Meal would have a different version of the vehicle. So the first week was Ronald McDonald, the second one was Hamburglar, third week was Big Mac, and the final week was Mayo Mccheese. For some reason, that is the rarest one. I guess kids by that time, probably their parents were saying you can't go to McDonald's anymore, and so they didn't manage to get Mayo Mccheese. So he seems to be the hardest one to get. The others are all sort of much the same. You can just sort of pick them up quite easily. I've not actually seen any of these at toy fairs recently, but as I say, eBay is probably the best place to find them. I didn't have any trouble picking these up to do this review. So I hope my review of these vintage 1984 McDonald's Happy Meal toys has been of interest to you, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.